Okay, let's see about assembling this. Now you're going to need the push plate, going to need the main body. Somebody cutting the grass outside, sorry about the noise there. You're going to need the main drive wheel, just breaking off a bit of plastic there. You're going to need the 2 pins, the short pin and the longer pin with a hole in. Now these have been tidied up a little bit, not totally. You're going to need skateboard bearing, I think, can't remember if I said that now. This one has a groove in, it's for the filament. Now I believe you can get shallow grooves or deeper grooves, a deeper groove for 3mm, shallow groove for 1.75. I think it can be quite hard to get hold of actually. You need a bolt like this. I'll put the size of this. Notice that this has a plain shaft on. That is quite important that it has a plain shaft on. You need a washer, quite biggest washer, spring. I'm using this plastic nail type nut, 4mm. There's 4mm balls. A push fitting for the Bowden tube. Need a hub bolt. And I've got like a normal washer. This is what is known as a speed ring. That can go against the washer without actually pressing on the washer. It just goes against the inside of the washer. So a couple of those skateboard bearings, a couple of speed rings. You might need a few more to adjust left and right a bit. Obviously a bolt. Now I would recommend that you get a locking bolt, or one that won't come loose. Mine is in use at the moment. See, this has been used. You might notice there's some filament on here, so I need to clean this out. Anyway, apologies for the noise, they're cutting the grass outside. Okay, first of all I would suggest putting this skateboard bearing, the one with the groove in, into the push plate. Now this does have lips on each side of here, so it can take quite a bit of pressure. It might need filing down actually. Well, that took so much pressure I had to go off camera and do it, but now I've done it. See, with a push in there, it still takes a bit of pressure, but basically those lips keep that skateboard in here. Just grip it a bit, but give it plenty of like free movement. So once you've got it in and out a few times, and you can put the pin in, the short one, push it back in, line up the pin a bit. Right, I'm going to put that onto here. I might have to sand that down a bit, let's see. Yes, so I'm going to file this edge down a little bit, use my file, flat file, just like across there a bit, just to file that flat a bit, and I'll come back. So yeah, drill that out 3.5, it's still very tight to do that. As I say, we want that to be tight because we don't want it coming loose. If you feel you must, you can put like the trap nut into the hole that's built for it in that lug on that side. So once it's been put in, I suggest you do need to take the pin out. I mean, this stops in here very well, this, with those like clips on the side, but the pin has fallen out, fallen on the floor, so you might want to take the pin out while you're doing this. So this will actually force stretching that plastic there. You just screw that back in, make sure that it is going to go in easily. Okay, yep, I'm having to put a reasonable amount of pressure on this. It's not going to come loose, that I don't think. Don't over tighten it because you will probably break the lugs off. You possibly could do. Just snug that up, that head up there, bring it back out. Then I'll see about putting this onto the main body. Okay. Line it up a bit. Always be careful that you don't slip with screwdrivers. They can be sharp. So this is a Phillips head 4mm bolt. Make sure that this can like fold closed. Should even fold all the way closed like that. Okay, I'm going to have a look for this pin that fell on the floor. Show you that. So you could put a nut on here. Have to be careful about the length of this because, oops, is that going out of focus? Because that can, the big wheel goes here, the big drive wheel, and that can scrape on that if you're not careful. Okay, let's put this pin in here. If that gets stuck in there a bit, we can screwdriver in. And line that up. So you might have a bit of a gap like that. There's a bit of, this needs cleaning a bit in here, so I'm going to do that, just that edge there. Don't know if you can see that. I'll do that and then I'll come back. Okay, after screwing that in, screw it in and out a bit, make sure it goes in straight. You have to put a bit of pressure on because it is cutting basically into the plastic. Check that this hole is free enough for the filament to go through. If it needs cleaning out, drill it out or whatever, yeah. As I say, this is like a cone shape here, a bit like a angle, so that you can almost push it. So long as you get somewhere near that hole, it should thread in reasonably easy. Obviously you could put another hole in there for another Bowden fitting if you want. Then put on the sort of hub bolt. So let's have a skateboard bearing in that side. So speed ring first. You see that, you might notice that that speed ring just goes on the inside of that sort of skateboard bearing, so it doesn't jam, the washer doesn't jam there. Likewise on this side, speed ring first, washer, and then you'd want a locking nut on there. I haven't got a spare one, I don't think, so I'm just using this for now. Tighten this up a bit. You want it tight, but loose enough to move. So generally tighten it up quite firm, then slacken it off a little bit. Yep, that moves. So you're going to have to be careful of this bolt here for this hinge one, that doesn't catch on to the main drive wheel here. Just going to check that those are in line. I'll come back. Trying to show you that it is in line. I did have to take this bolt out and melt it in a slight bit, pressing into it. Make sure you do that straight, just to get the move over a tiny bit, like in that direction in my case. I wouldn't suggest that you want to take those washers off. This edge does almost scrape against this bolt, so that bolt could probably do being short or cut down. The lighting in here, I don't know what's wrong with my lighting. Okay. And it's basically, it's got some blue filament here so we can see the contrast. Put that in, make sure it goes into the other hole. Yeah, it's coming out there. Latch that onto here, and as you see there, it's feeding that, obviously, to be the Bowden tube in there, and if need be you can tighten it up. Now it's hard for me to do this because it's not actually fastened to the printer, but when it's fastened to the printer we can pull this and loosen off this filament if we need, like, general sort of access. We don't need any major access. Obviously we can unhook it. Sometimes it's a little bit fiddly this, but basically that hooks into there. So that is basically it. I'm going to see about fastening this to the printer and actually trying it out. I will put a locking nut on here. I think I will chop that bolt down just a little bit, cut it down a little bit, a couple of those millimeters, so that there's no chance of it scraping this wheel. Turn it the other way. Actually, if I pull on this, it does push it through a little bit tightening. This filament has been used before. This end bolt is turning in itself, the whole bolt. It will turn the wheel because it's gripping that firmly. Easy to pull and push. Okay, thing is to get this on the printer. Now I'm going to use an aluminium 20 tooth pinion bolt here. I did try printing one out, but the belt didn't really grip into that, so that's why I intend to use aluminium one. So basically that will be at the top. It might be best to push it in a little bit first actually, and then hook it over, rather than pushing it forward then pushing it. So That's another use for this almost lever thing here. Put my thumb there, press that forward, latch it in. Okay, let's get that on the print and try it out. I think that'll be in another video.